Hey, how's it going? I'll just want to do a part two to my previous video on encoding of the left-hand side using the numbers 33 or 333 and 66 or 666. So I just made a list. I'm gonna go over some of the new ones that I've thought of. The theme will be largely like banking and financial stuff, but I mixed in a couple other ones that I thought of as well. So just certainly from a banking perspective, there's a lot of either coincidences or there's a lot of encoding. And we know that now it seems like a lot of people are getting, hip to this, that central banking and the banks in general charging interest, or creating slaves, worldwide, all of us, enslaved by this concept, this centralized, this idea that money can be created out of thin air, which is first of all problematic, but second of all controlled by a small group of people, and it's God's will. So we have to have faith that it's ultimately serves a righteous purpose. He wouldn't allow that, unless that were the case. We're dealing with a spirit who put his own son on a cross and allowed him to die a grisly death. So we're dealing with that type of a spirit. So, we have no reason to think that he would not put, evil people in charge of, the entire world. That's not inconsistent with what we know, So, but, there's a lot of encoding. So Wells Fargo, for example, just starting with some banks, Wells Fargo is WF. And like I said in my prior video, W is basically just a 3 just tilted sideways, and F is the 6th letter in the alphabet. And so just an example, Fox News, for example, is 666 because F, O, and X are every 6th letter in the alphabet. So Wells Fargo is WF, which is encoded for 36, and 36 is literally that, 3 sixes, like 3-6 Mafia. Motel 6 is M6, which is M is also just a 3 tilted sideways, and so it's 666. So Wells Fargo is encoded with 666. Bank of America, not the name itself, but if you look at the logo, it's like 3 11s just kind of pasted together like a tile, and 11 11 11 is 33. Chase Bank, this is easy, it's 32. So Chase Bank is CB, which is C is the 3rd letter in the alphabet, B is 2, the 2nd letter. That's 3 2s, or 3 3. So 3 2 is not quite the same as reading it, from left to right, like 2-3, like Michael Jordan, 2 3s. But the way and again, Russianvids brought this out, the way that the left-hand side works, they do things forward and reverse. Like I mentioned in my prior video, they read the Lord's Prayer backwards. Oprah Winfrey Network is OWN and backwards is NWO, so they have double meaning. So 32 and 23 are basically the same thing. They're interchangeable. So CB, 3-2 is the same as 2 3s, which is 33. International Bank of Commerce, IBC, is I and then 23, which is I 33. I and then 2 3s. Central banking, the term itself is again CB, which is 32, which read backwards is 2 3s. Federal Bank, or like the Federal Reserve Bank, but just the F and the B is 62 for F and B. And then that's, again, backwards, it's 2 6s, so it's 62. Same with fractional reserve banking or fractional banking, which is this notion that you can lend out more money than you actually have, which is, again, one of the fundamental evils in the world right now. And if even a small percentage of Americans withdrew, all of their money just for a day and put it back, the whole system would crash because of this notion of federal fractional reserve banking. Wachovia Bank, or just Wachovia by itself, is W, which is 3, but Wachovia Bank is 32. Read backwards is 2 3, so that's 33. Warren Buffett is W2, which is 32, which is again 33. Warner Brothers is also WB. William Bill Gates is WBG, which is 32G. And so that's like 3 3s and then a G, which we know G is the symbol for Freemasonry. So like I suspect he's one of the higher people on the totem pole in Freemasonry. him and Warren Buffett. So, and his name basically spells it out literally. First generation, second generation, third generation, fourth and fifth generation wireless all have G's in it, which again is the main term for Freemason, the main letter to signify Freemasonry. And then we know that all these technologies are ultimately, obviously driving communication standards and stuff, but also serving a double purpose, to bring about all these different technologies that, are interweaved with the mark of the beast and the microchip. The term mutual fund itself is MF, which is 36. Again, if you tilt the M sideways, you get a 3, and F is 6. So you get 36, so 3 sixes, just the term mutual fund. Welfare could be thought of as WF, which is 3 sixes, which is 36, which is 666. And Conoco 66, the gas stations, which we all see, it's just blatant. It's inside of a highway symbol, but again, 66 is like in plain sight, and Conoco is C, so it's like basically 366. But that's just stuff that I thought of between the last video and now, and it's again, there's not that many letters that really you need to make this all work. There's just certainly like W, M, and C are very, very important ones, because they're the ones that help us get to 3, the number 3, very quickly. And G is very important for Freemasonry. And F, O, and X pop up a lot. And then obviously Fox News, which is basically 666 News, if you think of it. Like, if basically, what would be really cool and impossible to ignore is that imagine if we did this replacement with imagine we had glasses or something that we could wear that would replace everywhere we see like a W, it would replace it with a 3, and everywhere we saw an F, it would replace it with a 6, and so on. And we use maybe these 5 or 6 letters with their numerical equivalent, and then we were also able to see things forward and backwards. We could quickly scan something forward and then also backwards. It would be alarming, all the different things that would stand out. People's names, signs. I saw a video yesterday where Flat Earth came up in the mainstream news, and it was like Greg Gutfield. Let me actually quickly look that up, just so I'm not saying it incorrectly. Yeah, it's this guy Greg Gutfeld, sorry. So again, we're talking GG. That's right. It was right in the middle of the stage, and they were talking about Flat Earth, on mainstream, laughing about it, of course. And, they were doing a survey of like how many people believe that the Earth is a ball, and it was 66%, and it's like, this is not even really like, it's like obvious now, like, and this is a thankfully that God is doing this for us. And just so you know, this Greg Gutfield is again some guy related to Fox News. So it's on the Fox News channel, which is 666. So, that's and also most recently this David Hogg, this kid who's involved in this, what I think is a hoax. His last name Hogg, which is H-O, so O is 6, G-G upside down are 2 6s, so you have H666, and so, it's, again, all these could be coincidences, but, you'd have to be a pretty huge, like, coincidence theorist to believe that. I mean, this is now, you can see the encoding everywhere, so it doesn't necessarily mean that obviously these things or these people are evil. It's just, there's so many of them now, it's like, there's some theme going on here, and it's like, just because you don't have these doesn't mean that you're innocent, or anything like that. But, it's just, it's interesting, and it's even like, I literally can't avoid thinking about this now. It's like, even like there's a lot of roads that are like FM, like farm to market type roads. And I heard that they literally were named that way because these roads were created to connect, different markets back in the day. And so FM, is like F is 6 and M is 3. So that's 6-3. So that's 666 as well. And I see a lot of roads that are like MM, like Mike something with the last name M, and I can't remember the name of the road that I passed, but it's like MM, and like you'll see a lot of that kind of stuff. So, you know, if you see names like even golfer like David Duval, like two letters that are the same as another thing that, you know, that the left-hand side uses. So again, I'm not saying David Duval is on the left-hand side. I have no idea, but just using his name as an example, DD44 is a symbol for, you know, destruction. You know, and that's where Jay-Z's album came from. He claims that it has something to do with when he woke up at 4:44 in the morning or something like that, which is absurd. And that might actually be true, but the number has a much deeper meaning, you know, than just simply that story that he's telling. So, you know, it's there's a lot of encoding, and you know, the more that you know, you pay attention to it, the more I feel like it's obvious that, you know, the world is literally run by evil people, you know, and it's not, you know, it's not even really hidden anymore, and it's kind of, to me, very, very obvious, and it's like everywhere, you know. So you know, I'm just trying to think of some right now just off the top of my head, but if you could think of any, you know, please share them below. There's a lot, and looks like a lot of people, especially due to Russianvids channel, you know, are getting you know, these, you know, kind of getting, you know, catching all these clues and seeing all these things and putting them all together. And, you know, again, huge credit to him and his channel, which no longer exists, that, you know, inspired, you know, me to put up these couple videos.